As the long-awaited Dune movie dropped last year, fans rushed out to see it, but some were left a little underwhelmed, whilst others have suggested that they had no idea what was going on by the end of the Denis Villeneuve's science fiction epic, which was of course adapted from the 1965 Frank Herbert novel. Today we're discussing the end of Dune Part 1, just in case you were wondering what it all meant. Let's jump straight in. What on earth did that ending mean? Let's see. The hype surrounding this one was real, especially considering how long it had been in the works and the disappointment of David Lynch's 1984 take on it, and there were plenty of questions raised over the epic 2.5 hours. However, fans won't have too long to wait for all to be revealed, as Part 2 is set to drop sometime next year, hopefully. At the end of Part 1, many people were left wondering what was next, as it ended pretty abruptly, but it turns out that was all planned given the upcoming second installment. As you will remember, Paul and Jessica have joined Stilgar's Fremen in Siege Tabar, but their fate is still in the balance. Jamis clearly isn't happy at what has transpired and engages in a fight to the death with Paul, the outcome of which we all know too well. Paul is then given the respect he desires amongst the Fremen, which means he is a step closer to ultimately becoming the Kwisatz Haderach. However, it is revealed that for Kwisatz Haderach to rise, Paul must die, unfortunately. This is highlighted when the voiceover warns, "When you take a life, you take your own," which suggests that Paul has actually killed his former self after killing Jamis. What did you guys make of the Dune Part 1 ending? Let us know your thoughts below. So what happens to Paul then? Stay tuned to find out. Well, as we saw, killing Jamis earned Paul a spot amongst the Fremen, which is what he desired due to his late father's wishes. However, for Paul to ultimately become Kwisatz Haderach, then many people will more than likely have to die. This is obviously problematic given the admirable nature of Paul's character for most of the movie, but some have suggested that he could turn heel further down the line. All this means that Paul's apparent path might not be the best one for it, or anybody else for that matter. We know through his visions that plenty of things might happen in the second part, including a holy war waged in his name by the Fremen. This would of course mean thousands of deaths, which ultimately worries Paul, as it obviously should. Whether or not this actually transpires in Dune Part 2, we have no way of knowing right now, as Paul's visions don't always turn out to be premonitions. This is highlighted by how events turn out with Jamis, completely different to how his visions predicted. His visions also suggest a future relationship with Zendaya's Chani, but similar to the Holy War, we're not sure if this will actually happen or not. Whatever happens when the second part drops, it is sure to be one heck of a ride. What do you guys think will happen to Paul in Dune Part 2? Let us know below. So what can we expect from the upcoming movie? Let's see. First and foremost, we will surely find out Paul's fate and what the future holds for him. He will become a force to be reckoned with as he gains more power and allies within the Fremen ranks, who are almost certain to escalate the problematic conflict with the Harkonnen. Those who have read the novel will know that Paul doubles down on his efforts to assemble a huge army, which he hopes will be capable of finally putting the Harkonnen in their place. The official synopsis suggests that Paul essentially becomes a mythical messiah figure to the inhabitants of Arrakis. Fans can probably expect Villeneuve to stay true to the second half of Herbert's novel, which should end with Paul's eventual rebellion against Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV. Elsewhere, the Atreides family will almost certainly grow, and Paul and Chani will probably settle down, as well as Lady Jessica giving birth to a daughter. The second part of the Dune novel has plenty of twists and turns, and is a pretty thrilling ride, to be honest. Denis Villeneuve said of the upcoming second installment, it's going to be another beautiful journey in the desert again. It's the journey where Paul Atreides and his mother, Lady Jessica, make contact with the Fremen culture and meet with the Fremen. It's Paul's journey against the enemy. It's a movie that will be more cinematic. We can't wait. Will you guys be tuning in? So what else do we know about the cast? Well, as you probably guessed, most of the actors who took part in Dune Part 1 will return for the upcoming installment, which will obviously include Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides and Zendaya as Chani. Zendaya will more than likely have a larger part to play in the second movie, given how the first movie played out. We also know that Rebecca Ferguson will once again be dropping by as Lady Jessica, and No Country for Old Men star Javier Bardem will be reprising his role as Stilgar. Hollywood legend Stellan Skarsgård will also be making a return as Baron Harkonnen, whilst ex-wrestler Dave Bautista will once again be stopping by as Glossu Raban. Baron Harkonnen Harkonnen's nephew. As well as the old guard, there will be plenty of new faces joining the cast for the second part, including the aforementioned Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan. We will also get a closer look at the range of Elvis actor Austin Butler's talents, as he will be stopping by as Feyd Rautha. And talking about Hollywood legends, Christopher Walken also joins the cast as Emperor Shaddam IV, and French actress Léa Seydoux will be playing Lady Margot. As well as this, Fremen warrior Shishakli will be played by Suhaila Yacoub, and there could easily be more additions before the movie drops late next year. Who are you guys most excited to see? Give us your thoughts below. Next up, Florence Pugh is set to skip the premiere of one of her own movies. As Dune Part 2 filming ramps up, one of its stars is set to miss the premiere of one of her other movies. Florence Pugh, who stars in the recently released Don't Worry Darling, unfortunately won't be in attendance when the New York premiere rolls round later this month, due to filming commitments on Dune out in Hungary. The movie has been in the spotlight of late due to plenty of backstage drama. Shia LaBeouf was given the axe, and there was reportedly simmering tensions between Pugh herself and director Olivia Wilde. There were also reports that Harry Styles, who plays Florence's husband in the movie, actually spat at Chris Pine during the film's Venice Film Festival premiere. However, Pugh won't have to worry about any drama during the New York premiere, as she probably won't be in attendance. The official party line is that she is out filming Dune Part 2 in Europe, but some reports have suggested that due to the friction between her and Wilde, she is actually choosing not to attend. It is as yet unknown what has caused problems between the pair, but some have alleged that Harry Styles has something to do with it, as Wilde began dating the lead actor back in 2020. Pugh was conspicuous in her absence at the Venice Film Festival press conference, although she did attend the premiere. What do you guys make of Pugh potentially not making the New York premiere? Let us know below. And finally, Wilde has sort of addressed her spat with Pugh. Stay tuned. Olivia has responded to murmurings that Florence Pugh will not be in attendance once the Don't Worry Darling premiere rolls around in New York later this month. The movie follows Pugh and Styles in husband and wife mode, as Florence's character begins to have suspicions of her husband and a secret project he is working on. However, it has been widely reported that Wilde, who dates Styles, doesn't particularly get along with Pugh. But speaking to Variety at the Venice Festival recently, she said, "Florence is a force. We are so grateful she's able to make it tonight for the red carpet despite being in production on Dune." She went on to say how much she understands how difficult it can be for a production to lose an actor or actress even for one day, before shouting out Denis Villeneuve for letting her attend. She went on to say, "And we'll get to celebrate her work tonight. I can't say how honored I am to have her as our lead. She's amazing." Rift? What rift? Wilde also went on to suggest that the rumors are simply internet gossip and refused to be drawn into them. Good for you, Olivia. What do you guys make of Wilde's words? As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to stop by again next time for some more fun and games. And why not do us a solid by liking today's video, whilst also sharing it with any Dune fans you might have lurking on those social media accounts. Bye guys.